taken on eating.
Yeah. All right, I'll start with you guys. Go ahead, whatever you guys got.
Have you decided anything on Kane yet, Matt?
No, too early. I think we'll have by the end of September, I'd like to have a really good understanding of what we're going to do with him, and I think that's our aiming point, to get to the end of that month and figure out A, where he's at, B, what's best interest for him and what's best interest for our football team. But probably end of September is when I'll have a really good idea of what's going on there. I can tell you this: he is getting better. Started on land running this week, which was really good for him. So he's progressing at a really good rate. We'll just make a really good decision by that point.
So it's a big thing with him. If you're going to use him, you want him to play a certain number of games, probably.
I mean, yeah. I think that's the political answer is yes. The real answer is where are you? What's the best situation for him? We're fortunate where we've got some guys at that spot that we don't have to try to rush him back, and we want to make sure if he is healthy and he is returning that he's at 100% with that injury.
How have you come through camp health-wise, other than Devin, obviously, but anything that'll keep anybody out of the first game or so?
Yeah, as of right now, no. And now it's the last 3 days, you kind of 14, 15, 16, we've got some bumps, some bruises, some guys dinged up. But I really see us, knock on wood, we've been really healthy, and really fortunate up until this point. So, I think we'll have a better understanding of that as we've got a big practice tonight, we've got a big practice on Saturday, and then, have a really good idea where we're at by Tuesday as we get into kind of you and I and really practice for that first football game.
Yeah, what is next week like? It's your last non-game week of off-season.
Yeah, I think as we put this together, this plan for this camp, said let's take fall camp up until Saturday. Let's really put the emphasis on ourselves and what we need to do to get where we need to be, and then let's start on Tuesday and really almost if you're going into a bowl game, is take that prep week and be a little advanced for you and I. Now we'll still take some time in development aspects of it, probably a little bit more heavy and individual and how we practice that way. But I think we can really start to get a great jump on our opponent.
I know a couple of weeks ago you thought Tongamoa would be here by now. What's kind of been the holdup?
Well, first of all, I don't know if I thought that. I just knew he'd be here at some point, and I think that's what I stated, and he'll be here. I think the latest I would see him getting here is by next Wednesday. So he'll be here. His only holdup is the fact of the matter of he's trying to finish up, just some core credit work that he's had to finish. And again, I think when you look at Camilo, sometimes you say, oh, that guy's, being lazy in the classroom. It's really not his situation. It's a core credit issue. And he's worked really hard. We'll get him here, and then once we get him here, we'll kind of see what happens. But he will be here, and I know that Cyclone Nation's all buzz about Camilo Tongamoa, and that's fair. He's a good football player and a good recruit, but there's 10 other guys that are doing a really good job. And, we just want to get Camilo here because I think he'll add depth. When he'll play, how much he'll play, all comes of what kind of physical shape he's in, and at what point can he help our football team be successful. I do think he will at some point, though.
Is that annoying that he's getting so much? People are asking about him, and they're not asking about Jaquan. They're not asking about whomever.
Well, again, I don't mean to say this. I think that's the point of where we're at in our program.
Yeah.
We're talking about guys we're hoping and wishing come in instead of guys that are proven commodities. Now, that's the defensive line spot where it's young in general, right? You got a lot of guys, Ray Lima and Ennie and Jaquan and Josh Bailey and guys that have had fantastic camps. But I could sit here on my podium and go off on all these guys that are doing great things. But until they go out and they perform, then hopefully after the first game we're talking about all those guys and going forward, their performance, and then guys that are coming in. But I think credit to him. Camilo is a very good football player, but the reality of it is us coaches really knew this situation was going to occur. Our whole deal was how can we do our best interest to put great depth there. And I think right now you're coming out of camp with 10 or 11 guys that we feel like can go in and play in a college football game and have success, which is a huge bonus for us, and still be able to redshirt some of our young guys, which we need to as well.
Coach Manning kind of talked a little bit about that last night, how it's exciting to look around the room and see that in a couple of years you're going to have a lot of experience just throughout the line. And I got to imagine that's the same way for you just with the entire team, that in a couple of years you're going to have more experience.
I mean, you look at this football team, and in a year and a half in recruiting, we have been able to at least reshape what the roster looks like. That part makes you be able to breathe, and there's competition from top to bottom. I think the thing we're excited about is we really feel like those guys that have been brought in on both the offensive and defensive line are guys that either, if they're not ready to play yet, are guys that are capable of playing for us, and B, the guys that are capable of playing for us and they're young, are really young and talented and have improved greatly through the summer. So, those are things that certainly make you feel better. I said this, and you can really go to all the positions. Quarterback was that way when we came in. It's like, oh man, like what the heck are we gonna do there? And and we were able to at least reshape that. And that's what I said from day one. You want to make that roster, that 105-man roster you bring in the fall camp, the most competitive and best you can be, and you got to do it a bunch of different ways and sort it out a bunch of different ways to get to that point. But I think you do look at it right now. When you talk the lines, the offensive line class. I know I said it in Dallas, and I'll tell you now, after 16 practices, that group's really special. Those young guys there, it's going to be really fun to watch the growth in that group come together. The defensive line, you look at last year's class, and Jaquan and Josh, Jamal Johnson, all four, all those guys are going to play football for us this year. And, they're young pups, but, they're kids that are really talented, and their ceiling's only going to get that much better. And some of those guys are redshirt freshmen, some of those guys are true sophomores.
How do you feel about the trenches on both sides as camp ends versus when it started? Because you mentioned 10 on the defensive line, and Coach Manny mentioned 8. He feels good about 8 on the offensive line.
Well, I feel excited that we have numbers. Again, I'd love to sit up here and brag and tell you that I think those guys are the greatest thing in the world. That's coach talk. Like, the fact of the matter is they got to go prove it. And I feel a lot better about where we're at. I feel a lot better about the improvement that's been made. But until those lights come on and we got to play in critical situations, and there's some young guys, I know, and the honest part of it, there'll be ups and downs. And if you say, man, what's your biggest fear of this team right now? It's the fact of the unknown. The unknown in some of those groups, guys that have not played Division I Power 5 football games in critical situations. Now, am I really proud of what they've done so far, and have they laid a foundation that I think they'll be able to pass those tests? I do, but the fear of the unknown right now is probably the greatest fear I've got going into this right now.
As far as you and I goes, you said you're going to look at them next week. Do you even use that tape from last year? How do you utilize that?
Well, I think you have to. And the reason, Chris, there is, Coach Farley's been there for a long time. Sustained success. I think their formula for success doesn't vary. They're going to run the ball. They're going to take care of the football. They're going to play really good with their front seven on the defensive side of the football. Try to keep things in front of them. They're going to try to do a great job of not beating themselves. And so I think it's a great reminder of just what they do when they're playing at their top. And they played a really good football game that day, and really executed what you would say UNI football at their best was. And so, I think it's certainly a great tool. Now, their games as their season went on, and personnel and all those kind of things, those are great things too. And not to say that's exactly how they're going to play us or schematically, but I think in general, you look at them over the past 5 to 10 years, they really haven't changed a whole lot. I think the reality is they want to run the ball, they want to take care of the football, and they're going to do a great job defensively trying to keep things in front of them and making you earn the right to beat them.
As far as you guys, though, I mean, you're really different than you were a year ago.
We are, I think you're just that much farther along, but I think it's still a great, when you're studying an opponent, you want to take all the resources you have, and I think that's certainly a great resource for us.
What makes you think this team, your team, can win those 3 games that you lost in the late in the fourth quarter of last year?
Well, I go back to January for me, and I know sometimes that is coach speak, it is a little bit, but you watch January, February, March, April, May, and you say, Matt, why are you so far ahead? Is it because you're another year into this? No, it's not the coaches that's changed. It's the investment of our players, and I think our growth has really occurred by their investment into what it takes to be successful. And you even watch the detail of our kids in practice, and I've said that's the one thing that I've really enjoyed about this team in fall camp is it's been a steady climb every day, and we haven't had the peaks and valleys. Now, when you're trying to win and sustain success, peaks and valleys I think come because not knowing how to handle success and handling failure. So I really think though this group, the detail, the foundation that they've put to themselves, at least gives them some confidence to play good football in critical situations. And no matter what adverse situations come, we may start out the game and down 14. That's football, it never goes as planned. But I think that confidence in that unification of this football team is as strong as I've ever been around, and I'm really excited because I think our kids have really sacrificed to get to that point.
Any true freshmen sticking out after a couple weeks?
Oh yeah, you know, I some names that I could definitely give you. Johnny Lang, I know people a lot of talked about Johnny. You know, Johnny's showcased just his speed and athleticism, and you know, he's got a really unique skill set at the running back spot that's different. Rob Hudson, interior offensive lineman, that's been really, really impressive. A guy that's probably fighting right now to be in the 2 deep and, you know, fighting to maybe play. You know, I've never done that with a young guy, but he's been really impressive. You know, defensively, you know, right now Keontae Jones and Datrone Young, both guys at corner, are guys that I think are really competing to play right now. And that's not even fair to not mention some other names, but I think those are the guys that have showcased at least, or have gotten their opportunities so far in camp to showcase, are they ready to help us, you know, and can they help us be successful early on. But I'd say that group of guys right now.
Will you burn a red shirt for special teams?
Yeah, you know, again, my philosophy's always been I'd rather play you too late than too early. And all I mean by that is, you know, I'd rather put you in a position to you know, I'm not going to waste a year for you playing 10 plays on PAT field goal, you know, or field goal block. But I think at the end of it, you got to sit down, you got to evaluate what's in the best interest of the team, certainly what's in the best interest of the young man. And when we do play a freshman, does he have the capability of helping us? And you know, last year I thought we were able to, at least the guys that did play had a positive effect on our football team. Their growth certainly came, and so I thought we made the right calls on the guys we played a year ago. But we try to do a really good job on it, and that's something I've always taken a lot of pride in, because I really want those young guys to feel like it's in the best interest of them and the team, the best interest for our football team as well.
It's kind of the goal to get away from Allen being on special teams, just to kind of keep him more healthy.
No, don't worry about that. Best players play, you know, and wherever it is, you know, it's a situation where I do hope, though, that our depth of our football team, though, the depth of where we're at, and starting to create some of that depth, hopefully that makes your special teams better, and you're playing a higher end player on special teams. And so, you know, we talk about that a lot in roles, but you know, I'm not the guy that says, man, every starter's got to start on special teams, but I'm also not the guy that says we're going to hurt our football team because we're trying to save somebody. I think the emphasis we put on special teams and the success we've had here and in our past has shown the best players are going to play if they can help us make a difference.
Coach White said this week that you guys have used 3 linebackers a little bit more this fall. How much do you see that happening, or do you think it'll help you just give different looks versus different teams?
I just think it allows us to be multiple, and again, that's where some of the depth piece comes into it. You know, you've got guys with different skill sets, and how we talk so much your best 11 players, you know, and then you talk best 11 players in certain situations. That's where defensive football has changed so much. You know, you used to be a 4-3 team or a 3-4 team, and that's all you did. Well, you do that now, and it's really hard to play good defense that way, you know, but having the ability to be multiple, prepare for situational football, and then making sure the best guys in those situations are in, certainly allow you to have success. But you know, I think Willie Harvey's got a unique skill set, because Willie's a guy that can run like a safety, but he's also got the ability to play in space. You know, McEnroe Alexander's a guy that comes to mind. It's very similar to Willie in that regard, where you know, Mac's up to 200 pounds, he can run, and he's played corner, he's played safety, but he's also a guy that can do that. Everett Edwards. So there's a lot of guys that have unique skill sets. DeAndre Payne is, we've seen played Sam linebacker or that nickel or dime spot for us. So, you know, we've got some flexibility, and we're going to have to use that, because in a conference, in a schedule like we play, you see everything from I formation to guys playing, you know, 10 personnel and going as fast as they can go.